The views and opinions expressed by the hosts do not state or reflect those of the company and its management. Any assumptions, views, and insinuations made by the hosts or guests do not reflect those of the show, the management, and the network. Listener discretion is advised.
Warning. This podcast contains spoilers.
Third World Cinema Club.
Ayun. And speaking of Quo Vadis Aida, I think it's time for us to also talk about that film. So Quo Vadis Aida is directed by this Bosnian director. Her name is Jamila. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but it's Zibanic. Probably I pronounced that incorrectly. But it's about this translator named Aida, of course, played by Jasna Duricic, who wants to attempt to save every single person in Srebrenica during the genocide, that's going on in their community, in their society. And along with that, she's also trying to save her husband and her sons, who happens to also be a part of this mass group of people who's trying to escape the Yugoslavian dictators, I guess, if I can call them even dictators. But yon, in the whole thing, we're seeing Aida go through the entire UN camp and how she gets to deal with the military men who is also a part of the UN Peace Corps, who's trying to pacify the people who took over Srebrenica. And at the same time, the people who used to live in Srebrenica, and how some of them wants to stay in the community but are forced to leave because of the circumstances that would eventually come their way. So yun. I want to personally start, sharing my thoughts on Quo Vadis Aida. I think that it's one of the best films of the year. I was expecting na ito yung magbe-best film sa Venice because of the feedback that I've been getting from a lot of people. And to me, not only was it centered by a very powerful performance from Jasna Duricic, but at the same time, we get to see how conflict works in a community, that's filled with so much war and so much issues. With Quo Vadis Aida, many of the things that are happening is centered on this idea of translation, because Aida is an interpreter, and because most of the UN people are English, or at least they speak in English, and the people who took over Srebrenica they speak in, not sure what their language is. Actually, I'm not familiar with the language.
It's Serbian.
Serbian, ayun. Thank you po. So, many of the things that are happening may end up getting lost in translation because she's the one who's interpreting. So, in a way, parang it's about an interpreter who's trying to deliver different messages from different parties. Yon, that's number one. And at the same time, we get a glimpse of what happened, because this is based on a real story, and it's more of like a history lesson on what happened to Srebrenica. That at that time, sometime during the 90s, there were people who were gravely affected because of war, because of misunderstandings. And I spoke about this with Kuya Rolando. There are many instances where it reminded me so much as well then of this Indonesian documentary called The Act of Killing by Joshua Oppenheimer, especially towards the end, because the suspect, the people who committed crimes, they get to walk among the victims in the society, kind of like walang nangyari. And, a lot of people were killed, a lot of people, had to lose a lot of things because of the war, because of the takeover, because of the genocide. But sila, they get to live as though walang nangyari, without guilt, without even any single form of remorse. And it says a lot about what we are as human beings. I mean, it still reflects, or it is still reflected to this very day because of many things that happen in our society. For example, in the Philippines, we have the drug war, diba? So in a way, parang the things that are happening in their society in the past, and at the same time, the things that are happening in the present how far have we really progressed in society? I think that's a question that we have to consider, because even with the technological advancements that we currently have and whatnot, have we really evolved into human beings who are capable of progressing, who are capable of empathizing, or are we reduced to rubble, or are we reduced to blood and dust? So I think that's the message that the film is trying to get across, and it delivered it masterfully. Yun. How about you guys? What are your thoughts about Quo Vadis, Aida?
So, my thoughts are, I think I've already told you about this, that among the foreign language films, ito yung pinaka-Oscar baity. And I think if Bosnia submits this, they can easily win Best Foreign Language Film because it's very timely and it tells the same story of dehumanization, And I think it's been a while na wala tayong film about the Bosnian and Serbian War. I think 2001 No Man's Land won Best Foreign Language Film, but I think we need another one to remind humanity that war is senseless, that it keeps on happening again. Like humanity is separating their child from their mothers. It's the same scene from the 1940s or the earlier wars. It just keeps on happening. But kahit ilang paalala, palagi nakakalimot yung mga tao. So I think we need authentic reminders about the recent wars that happened. Ito yung right film, and it's well acted. It's very intense. And I think same siya ng intensity ng Argo. I mean, yung type ng engagement ko sa screen while watching. It has really good editing. So I think a lot of people will enjoy this film if they release it to more audiences.
I agree. And I agree then that's very Oscar baity because of the filmmaking approach that was made. And at the same time, the very context that it's trying to present, that alone is Oscar baity. The Academy will definitely eat it up. And I will say that. How about you, Doc? Any thoughts about Quo Vadis, Aida?
Quo Vadis, Aida, no? I'm sure a lot of you have talked about it before. There are very few films that cover the Srebrenica massacre. It's one of the lesser parang portrayed tragedies in cinema. So, yun pa lang. And I think the director of this film is Serb also, and or at least she was born in Serbia. Yan. And ang ganda ng portrayal niya eh. For one, parang it embodies the quote by Edmund Burke na the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. And that holds true for the UN forces. Kasi it's a bit of an indictment for the inaction of the UN in this situation. It led to the deaths of thousands of Bosniak men and children, and also maraming babae din ang namatay or na-rape during this time. Secondly, although I'm still struggling with how to articulate it, it's a meditation din on the banality of evil. The people who perpetrated these crimes are mga kapitbahay, mga estudyante, kakilala, pero in the name of nationalism, they did literally committed genocide against their countrymen. A fact that's still a fresh wound between Serbs and Bosniaks today. Marami pa rin nag-aaway dyan. Kasi it's a very contentious topic. And other than Nomadland's performance ni Frances McDormand, this is one of the best female performances, period, that I've seen in Toronto. And it's built on this parang inertia of terror na tipong, shit, alam mo kung ano yung mangyayari. Gusto mong mapigilan pero wala kang magagawa. There's a sense of hopelessness. And I think ang ganda ng pagkagawa ng pelikula in the sense na mapapasok ka dun eh. Mafe-feel mo yung nararamdaman ng mga tao. And lastly, I hope no one has discussed this yet, pero sobrang ganda nung the coda to this film, and it embodies the title very well. The title is Quo Vadis, di ba? It comes from parang the original material there is from an apocryphal part of the Bible where St. Peter, he's running from Roman authorities. He's running because he's gonna get crucified. So nasa daan siya, he's trying to run away. But then he's met by the risen Jesus Christ. And Jesus tells him, Quo Vadis, Peter, where are you heading? Saan ka papunta? And those words spur Peter to return to Rome where he gets crucified na pabaliktad. So may sense of hope. As weird as it sounds, there's a sense of trying to live on from something so horrible na there's still a risk of death with you returning, pero you're still trying to live on. Partly because you have nothing to lose, but partly because the rest of your life is in front of you. Ganon. So it's a very beautiful thing to end the film with. Even though it's a film that I don't want to see again, pero for all the right reasons. Yun lang.
Totoo. And ang dami kong luha dun sa film. Tsaka ang galing talaga. Sobrang galing ni Jasna Duricic. I mean, she did that. Yan, have to say. And speaking of true stories, let's go to another true story. This one is called Good Joe Bell. It's directed by Reynaldo Marcus Green, and it follows this man, the titular character portrayed by Mark Wahlberg, si Joe Bell, who roams through the entire America, with like a stroller of sorts to share his message of anti-bullying because of what happened to his son, Jaden, portrayed by Reed Miller. Yan. So, this is a very interesting film. Yun na lang sabihin ko. I don't think I want to give my opinions about it. But kayo guys, ano thoughts nyo?
For Good Joe Bell, this is a very bad film.
Bad Joe Bell.
Oh, bad Joe Bell. yun lang yung sa akin. Very, very bad. I guess may nabasa kasi akong review after seeing the film. I completely agree with it na parang sabi niya, it's a film with good intentions but bad messaging. Kasi it's ironic kasi the film is set in this, social media centric era, but the film is so backwards. You just want to hate Mark Wahlberg all over again. So, ayun.
Tsaka pansin ko lang na si Mark Wahlberg, he really likes being in biopics. Like, he likes being in films that are based on a true story, like in Deepwater Horizon, diba?
So, parang
just
the
observation.
fatherly role. Pero here, iba yung pagiging father niya na parang you're gonna be really, really pissed off, not just sa kanya, but even how the story progresses. Kasi, kumbaga, we're in this era of progression na we accept any gender, any color. Here, it's really, really, really outrageously done. Very backwards siya na. It kind of sends the messaging about the youth not being able to express themselves freely. Parang there's a lot of obstacles that they go through that oftentimes are non-existing na in this period of time. So, ayun.
And I feel like ito na lang sasabihin ko. It's definitely a total 360 from what Mark Wahlberg did in another biopic that I really loved from him called The Fighter.
Yeah.
Total 360 talaga. Ayan guys, how about you? Kevin, ikaw naman. What are your thoughts about Good Joe Bell?
Yeah, I know a lot of you guys don't like this movie, but I actually like this more than you did. I think most of your disappointment, guys, in anger are pointed towards the character of Mark Wahlberg because we're discussing how backward this movie is, and I agree at some point. But I think the movie goes to show a point that these characters are flawed, and no matter how flawed it is, because I like the relationship of Mark Wahlberg's character has with his son here, and there were some affecting moments here. And I guess we need to see more progressive characters, to see different perspectives here, because most of the time now we're stuck on our protagonist here is Mark Wahlberg. But I'm trying to give this one something a redeeming quality because I really did like it. I appreciated it amid its flaws. Though the thing is, it has message about bullying, bashing, and sometimes suicide, but the script kasi sometimes it just lays it out there that you're just supposed to accept it without creating nuances from its characters, genuine moments of epiphany that I was wanting from the movie. But if you're just going to take it on face value, it has the best intentions, though it won't stand up much to scrutiny. Kasi we have a lot of movies tackling about LGBT and suicide themes that could have addressed this issue way better. But kasi I find it hard judging because this is based on a true story, and if this is what really happened and we're focusing on the perspective of the character of Mark Wahlberg, then I want the movie to show it how it really happened. And yeah, I guess there's guilt going throughout the film, and you can warrant the film that there's a evolution to the character of Mark Wahlberg because he has this realization towards, and he ultimately did this long walk to commemorate his son. I just want more positivity out of it because the ending was kind of sad. I guess that's it.
In fairness talagang nabigyan mo siya ng tremendous positivity. And
I really tried.
There's a different opinion din na makarinig na ibang opinion kasi different in other people's eyes. So, yeah.
Totoo. And I'm almost surprised nga din na it's not film directed by Peter Berg. Kasi personally, because I've gotten used to Mark Wahlberg being in a lot of action films like Mile 22, Deepwater Horizon, Patriots Day. I was expecting na like somewhere towards the middle may barilan, ganyan, may sabugan. But no, I think that's just me.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is the first straight up drama that I've seen from Mark Wahlberg. Though he has this parent role na though more of comedy yung Instant Family, which another movie about foster parenting which I found effective. Pero dito ko lang siya nakita talaga na go into drama territory, and yeah, I actually appreciated his acting here.
Totoo. Kuya Jim, have you seen Good Joe Bell?
Yes. For me it's disappointing. Parang nasasayangan ako dun sa pelikula. Kasi hindi niya nabigyan ng buong focus yung film about yung bullying and other struggles ng anak ni Mark Wahlberg. And I believe it's a wrong casting choice, yung nag-lead si Mark Wahlberg. And I'm interested sana if Jake Gyllenhaal played the father kasi siya yung nag-EP, siya yung executive producer. Maybe if Gyllenhaal played or portrayed the father, si Joe Bell, maybe ibang level yung resulta ng pelikula. And aside from that, siguro kung ibang director din yung humawak ng pelikula, mapupunta siya sa ibang direksyon kasi yung non-linear narrative ng pelikula is not effective Yun yung sayang, parang ganun. Alam mo yung maganda sana yung premise kaso the way it was executed and handled, hindi siya effective. Ayun. And then kasi si Mark Wahlberg, napanood ko na siya as a father in The Lovely Bones. Starring Saoirse Ronan. Pero kasi doon, hindi mo mapapansin yung character niya. Pero kasi dito, he's a father. I understand that Mark Wahlberg kasi yung mga roles niya, alam natin na bordering or masyadong obvious yung machismo. Which is I got it nung pinapanood ko, okay, get. Pero, alam mo, parang wrong cast choice yan Hindi siya parang, for me, hindi siya yung bagay for the lead character na Joe Bell. Ayun, and I agree din dun sa nabasa ko na article which says also read yung maganda sana intention ng film, however, bad messaging nga siya. So, yun.
Yan. Doc, ikaw, what are your thoughts on Good Joe Bell?
Wait lang. Bueno lang ako. Yeah, this one had a great cast, some good acting, pero it really was a disappointment. Yeah, I agree na it's a well-meaning film with bad messaging. Pero other than that, everything for me was executed wrong. It might have benefited from a more linear narrative kesa sa may flashback siya. Kasi and the focus is on Mark Wahlberg's character. This has the unfortunate parang effect of parang naging reductive yung pag-treat doon sa anak niya. Mark Wahlberg and his dead gay son. Parang gano'n na lumabas. Kasi naging prop na lang yung bata. Kasi the son that Mark Wahlberg sees while he's traveling, the imaginary son, is nothing more than something that's a conception that's in Joe Bell's mind. Okay sana to if it were a fictional portrayal. Pero this is a real person. And to treat him that way in real time, even though yun nga, he's more than that Parang weird lang yung dating sa akin. And if this was played straight na tipong there was bullying, kid died, he travels, I think it would have worked a lot better if this would have been a better film. At least a half-decent film if it had a good edit. Pero wala eh. Wala akong nakikita doon. And pati yung parang color grading ng pelikula, may medyo weird. Kasi it's very parang medyo desolate siya. So I'm struggling to find a connection to it. At the end, parang namatay, ganon. Namatay, parang okay. I couldn't find myself connecting to it at an emotional level. And yun nga, there's a case to be made about representation. I don't think this is the right way to do it. Kasi it feels very awkward to me at least. Yun lang.
And ayan, finally, Kuya Rolando, ikaw, your thoughts on Good Joe Bell?
I think sa lahat ng films natin, ito yung pinaka-last ko. So parang dinil-dila yung character na-build yung character ni Mark Wahlberg more than any character in the film, and then it ended abruptly. Parang namatay siya, patay lang. So, nagtanungan pa tayo, bakit nga ba siya namatay? Then research, I think vehicular accident. And I don't like the screenplay. I mean, type of conversation sa film is like homosexuality 101. Like, those type of conversation occurred maybe 30 years ago. You know, I mean, we're already past that. I'm not saying okay, they should talk like that way because this is a film that happened in the past, but the writer could have written it in such a way na talagang mas mababali niya yung representation by being not too naive about the subject matter, because the way it come across, it's too naive. Masyado siyang outdated, I think, yung message na pinaparating niya about homosexuality. Yeah.
Yan. Tama naman. And I think everyone's points are valid. Sasabihin ko na lang na Mark Wahlberg tried. He did his best.
Yes.
Diba? Ayan.
That's it. That's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening. This would not be made possible without your support, and of course with the help of Cutprint Podcast Network's team, headed by Patricia Marie Ferrer, Network and Podcast Manager Ellie Kirong Cole, Social Media Manager Rowan Palomares, Business Development Team Lead Lee Lirio, and from the creative side, Christina Lido and Andre Luis Castillo Ibanez. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Stitcher, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you get your podcasts from.
Third World